Hi everyone. Today we're going to look into the formulas that are used for simple and compound interest. So previously we've learned that simple interest is linear. So our final amount we can figure out if we know how much we start with and how much we're increasing by each time. And compound interest is exponential, where we're multiplying by the percent increase. So let's take a look at some of the formulas and learn what they do. So simple interest, I might want to find how much interest I gained. So what I can do is I take the principal, I multiply it by the rate, so by the percent, convert that to a decimal, and multiply by how many years. Now, to find the final amount, okay, the final amount is A, I can take and add the principal and the interest, so how much I started with plus how much I gained, or this formula is a factored and simplified version of the top formula where I can put in the principal, the rate, and the time, and it gives me my final value. So depending on the situation, I might want to know how much money do I have total, or how much more money, how much money did I gain from where I started. The interest is how much money I gained from where I started, and sometimes I just want to know the final value. Now, compound interest has some slightly more intricate formulas. So we may not be compounding annually, so there's an extra variable n. So n is the number of cycles in a year. For example, I can have my money compound monthly, where n would be 12 because there's 12 months in a year. Or I could have it compound quarterly, where there's 4 cycles in a year. So to find the final value, we're going to use this exponential equation, except we now have r divided by n so that we can figure out what percent we get per cycle, and we're going to figure out how many total times we compound by multiplying n and t. Now, some financial institutions also try to offer really appealing interest where they compound continuously and they use the exponential constant e. And they take the principal and multiply it by the exponential constant raised to r times t. In both cases, to find the amount of interest I gained, what I do is I take my final amount of money, I subtract my original amount of money, and the difference between the end and the start is how much interest I gained. If I start with $500, so P is 500, and I end up with $600, I gained $100. Interest is the money that you gain. And those are formulas that we're going to learn how to use to find simple and compound interest.